Ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing here at Angkor Wildlife Aquarium. I'm standing here with Mark Denty. Mark. Mark is the animal curator of the aquarium. And thank you, Mark, for granting us the opportunity to speak to you about the operation as well as how the Angkor Wildlife and Aquarium, the roles of this center in promoting tourism in Siem Reap in particular and Cambodia, because it's the first one, of course, the world-class one. I think we are going to discuss the roles of this center. And let me start off our interview with a very simple question, because I know that this center started in 2022 when the world is still trying to get back from, to recover from COVID-19 pandemic. It's a very challenging start. And I just want to know, how did it look like back then in 2022 when it first launched?
Okay, so we opened in November 2022, so actually in the end of 2022. At this point, it looked very similar to what you see today. But the project before that was under construction through the main COVID period. So for a few years before that, it was a construction site when everybody here was wearing high-vis jackets, hard hats.
Sure.
And this we continued to do through COVID, but at a slower pace, until we could see the restrictions being lifted and the hope that tourism was coming back to Siem Reap. So then we decided that around November for the Water Festival was a good time to open in 2022.
Okay, so even though we are having a very, very challenging time back then, but you still can see many tourists coming, both foreign and domestic tourists?
Yeah, so tourism didn't really come back as quick as it was predicted in Siem Reap. And I think we're still seeing a little bit of that now, but numbers are getting better each year. So from foreign tourism, anyway, it was a slow start. But we had a very good start from local tourism. So our gate entries from local Khmer were actually very good.
So, because this is quite new to the local, but it might not be new for Westerner, for foreign tourists. But why tourists should visit this aquarium or wildlife center to use as a curator?
Okay, so we focus predominantly on Cambodian species. So, if you go to a lot of projects around the world, they will show you animals from all around the world. I think we differ in our focus is on local species endemic to this area, and in particular the endangered ones of those. The problems they're facing and how we can help them. So we're very much focused on the species here, local to this, and educating people about their issues. So I think that differs us from a lot.
That's right.
So you can see just behind us, we have one of our largest tanks is 500,000 litre. It's dedicated only to Mekong species. So all of the species in here, you can see in the Mekong River, the Tonle Sap Lake, the Tonle Sap River, and around freshwater in Cambodia.
I see. So this is a very, very exceptional one for Cambodia in particular. Can we say that?
Yeah, exactly. If you we can go to an aquarium outside of Cambodia, and you won't see a Mekong specific tank. And I think this really highlights some of the really important species that Cambodia holds. And I think that's really good for this area.
That's right. You might have received many feedback from visitors so far, foreigner alike, locals and foreigner. But is this the one that they often say that is more restrictive, or is there any part?
I think from the feedback we get about this one is, especially for local people, they know these species. They know even the critically endangered ones, but they never see them, right? So because they're so difficult to see now. So to come here at AWA and to be able to see species close up like this, then it's easier for us to educate people and to inspire people to care about them, because the people can actually see in the flesh those species.
I see.
So I think that's a very good feedback. Also here, we have the marine tank. So we show marine life from around the coast in Cambodia. So shark species, and typically the marine species are very colourful. So we get a lot of good feedback about being able to see like what a coral reef system will look like and those sort of species. But people don't normally get to see that.
Right. Just a very small question, because I know that there's many type of fishes here from Tonle Sap or Mekong River, but how do we get it here? Like,
how do we get them here?
Yeah, how do we get them here?
Okay, so all of the fish in this tank, or most of the fish in this tank, didn't come from the Mekong or from Tonle Sap. So all of the critically endangered ones, you can see that we have the panel for.
Yep.
Actually, many of the big ones were donated to us through contacts in Phnom Penh. People that have kept fish for many years, they're interested in these rare species.
That's right.
When they heard about the aquarium, they were keen to have some of the fish displayed here so that people can enjoy them also and learn about them. So we transported the fish from captive facilities in Phnom Penh to Siem Reap.
Are they retaining their ownership of the fish? No?
No,
they just donated to you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So one of the guys actually was from, he was an expat from France. He lived here for many years.
Yeah.
He loves fish and he collected for many years, but then he needed to go back and he wanted to give his fish a good home and also where people can see them and enjoy them. So he donated to us before leaving.
That's right. So I think I have seen, it's not just a place where we can see the animal, the aquatic fishes and so on, but the most important part is education and conservational education that we have seen so far. Can you tell us a little bit in detail how can, for example, like you see small kid here coming to visit and then they just might be wondering what is it and then they want to learn more, but how can this contribute to conservational effort or maybe education in terms of...
Okay, so education underpins everything, right? If we don't educate people, that, in particular the next generation of Khmer, so young Khmer kids, then if they don't grow up to care about the environment and the animals within it, then they're very, very difficult to conserve anything. You can see we have a lot of education on the walls here for visitors to read. And we talk about Tonle Sap Lake and the Mekong River and the problems, also the problems with deforestation, snares in the forest, not just about the water systems. So then people can come here and learn about those issues. But most importantly, at the minute, we have an education program where we're reaching out to schools in the local areas that wouldn't normally be able to afford the transport to come to visit us. We have a project with them, bringing these school groups in. And up to date, since February, we've had in excess of 30,000 school children that wouldn't have been able to come to us before. And these, we have education program for these where they learn about the fish and the other animals. So this is one of our most important things, educating the next generation of Khmer and conserving the endangered animals in Cambodia.
Interesting, but it's not limited to the kid, but all adults and everyone.
Everyone that comes here can learn about our animals. That's our role. But we focus specifically on young Khmer children because they're the future for Cambodia.
That's
so
right.
We have to.
They should learn something from this.
Exactly. We have a lot of different species in here. They not all eat the same food, and also we want to make sure that everybody's getting the right amount, not that somebody gets big and fat and someone gets very skinny. So our divers scuba dive down, and this way they can manage the feeding a lot more accurately. But also, just to give an example, this is the giant Mekong catfish. So this species is actually a vegetarian.
Vegetarian.
Doesn't eat fish or meat, right? So we want to make sure that this one isn't eating the meat, because potentially it would, but it's not natural, and it's not good for it, because it's not what it evolved to eat. So this one actually eats vegetable mixed with water, blended with water, and they actually feed from a bottle like this. The divers will feed them from a bottle. Like this, we know that they're getting the correct food, so it keeps them healthy.
I'm not really sure how often do you feed them? Just one a week or?
No, every day.
Every day?
Yes. So these guys get fed twice a day. You get fed in the morning and then in the evening. So these guys actually been recently fed. You can see the water a little bit cloudier than before. That's because the diver was in this afternoon. And then the marine tank also gets fed twice a day, morning and evening. So.
I see. My next question, I think you have been running this center, which is one of the world-class aquariums and wildlife facility. So there might be a lot of challenges for you. Can you actually share with us what are the most important challenges you face and you've been trying to deal with so far as an animal curator here?
Yeah, so one of the greatest challenges we faced when we first set the project up is we want to employ a lot of people from this local area. So that's one of our roles here.
That's right.
Not just in Siem Reap town, but in Srotnikum district. So we employ a lot of people from the local area. But being the first aquarium into Cambodia, we can't employ experienced divers like you see now in here. We put the teams together more than 2 years ago. Now they're doing a great job and they've learned all about their role, how to look after the animals, and a very good standard of animal welfare. But that took a long time to do because we can't employ people with that experience. So one of our biggest challenges was to train our staff from day one right up to the standard that we need, which can take a very long time. And for my staff in particular, was also safety was a huge thing to working with tiger and bear and venomous snake can be very dangerous. So understanding those safety protocols and how to do that, that was the biggest challenges we faced when we started. But as you can see now, we have no issue anymore. Our team. So we have 7 aquarists and we have 7 animal keeper. They're dedicated every day just to look after the animals. And pretty much all of those staff have been with us for the 2 years.
That's right. Yeah, I think people coming here might not know that I think I have learned from you that not just how this facility have with all of this conservationals and education stuff, but also that a sustainability part. You also employs water treatment, the standard one, and then you have solar system here that could provide the energy and stuff.
So now really every business should be sustainability focused. For the good of the planet. It affects everybody and everything that lives in it. So because we're an environmental project, then we also need to act responsibly, ethically, and that means being sustainable where we can. So you're correct, we have more than 1,000 solar panels on the roof and a few more hundred on the ground, which cover our electricity needs, or mostly cover our electricity needs. Instead of taken from mains power. We have a water treatment center, so we can actually recycle a lot of the water we use. As an aquarium, we tend to use quite a lot of water. A lot of that can be reused. And now we have the water treatment plant. It's just another form of recycling. And we try not to sell any plastic products, anything that goes into the environment that causes damage. So we use recyclable coffee cups, for example, or straws.
Another question that I believe some tourists might have heard, and then because of there a lot of debates on the increasing knowledge and awareness on, for example, like ecotourism, which they contemplate more the balance between environments and the effects on the animal itself. For example, like putting animal in captivity might raise some concern for them. They just want to know how we can actually ensure the ethical issue properly. But to you as an animal curator, you might have something to say to us, for example, like this wildlife and aquarium center.
So, I mean, ethically is what is needed. And I think it's a very good thing now that people, a lot of people are starting to question whether a project is ethical or not before they visit. This is great news from us. This is great. But you know, it's like every business or every industry. You have ethically good and ethically bad. Right. So it's about doing research yourself to see if it's a project that you feel comfortable visiting and supporting or not. So I can give you a few examples. So our project here, we have a few different conservation projects. I just finished releasing some more Siamese crocodiles into their former range where we have people looking after them in the wild. We do captive breeding of endangered species, some of which we can release back in the wild. We have the education programs and we have some research projects. So this is all doing good things for the wildlife in Cambodia and giving back to it, right? And promoting their conservation. So this is a forward, you know, a modern facility which is going to give back. If you find an animal collection that is not doing any of those things and is purely there just to show you the animals, then it's good that you question that.
Yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't support those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You raised so many interesting points, and I think the challenge part is also vital for us to understand, and sustainability part also.
Yeah.
I think let us know why we should appreciate this one, the facility. But look into your future plan. For example, like we have been running this for around 2 years, and I think there might be a lot of things to do more. But what are your plans to ensure, to at least to enhance the attractiveness of this facility? Make sure that foreigners as well as local tourists will come and visit the animal here. Yeah,
so like everything in the tourism and leisure industry, we should always be looking to move forward. If you don't move forward, you kind of move backwards,
That's
right?
That's right.
So, which means natural expansion and to give new products as well that people can come enjoy. So, I mean, looking forward to the future, this is currently phase 1. We have other phases planned, and that will mean more endangered species for more breeding, more species for people to come and see and learn about, and also more products. For example, right now we do a River Monster Lecture project, which is a tour. You can come in and you can see the back of house. You can learn about how we look after the rare fish and the problems that they face, and how we're hoping to put a stop to that.
Yep.
And in the future, we're going to launch like a VIP tour, which includes the wildlife as well. So we see the aquarium and also meet some of the keepers and see what it's like to look after the animals and some of the things they need, such as medical treatments, enrichment, and what makes it, you know, a very good standard of animal welfare. And that gives people an insight, and you know, it's a little bit more personal, a little bit more interactive.
That's right. So on my right-hand side, you can see the tiger here. So how many wildlife species here that you actually have right now, in addition to the aquatic species over there?
Okay, so we have around 17 species of what we call terrestrial or land-based animals, so not inside the aquarium. But then we also have a reptile house which has a lot of local species in. So I think I've got close to 30 more species inside the reptile house. So that gives you an idea about what we currently have. Yeah.
So are there any like ways that visitor can have a close encounter just like this one? Is there any possible ways?
Well, typically our normal visitor are not allowed any access to the animals. We don't want people getting close to the animals. We don't want people disturbing our animals, right? That's very important. So yeah, everybody can come here from the view window and see the tiger or the bears or any of the other animals. But like I said, when we do our products like River Monster Lecture, which is more VIP, it's a guided tour, or the VIP tour we're going to do in the future. What that means is it's a little bit more personal, smaller groups with animal keepers, and then it means we can show you the back of house, or we can create animal enrichment and you can give to them just what our keepers do.
That's right.
So we can do that, but that's part of the VIP tour products.
Just for information, because we have seen land-based animal and you mentioned reptiles. So where do you get this animal from? Are they just rickshaw animal?
Yeah, so most of our animals here outside actually came from Phnom Thmey Wildlife Zoo, sorry, in Phnom Penh. So most of the animals were rescued from Wildlife Alliance from the illegal pet trade. These animals are grown up around people, meaning that they're not eligible for release. You know, they won't either know how to survive in the wild, or they're not scared of people, which is no good if you're a wild animal.
Right.
So we give them a home as a last resort because we can't release them.
That's right. Yeah. I think it comes to my final question, because we have learned a lot about the facility, the aquatic parts, and then the land-based animals and reptiles. Because even though we haven't been here, but just want to know from you, because I think our audience out there might want to know why, if they are living in Siem Reap or maybe inside Cambodia, why they should come to visit this aquariums and then wildlife center in Angkor.
Okay, so I think our main focus for people to come and visit us is, one, we want you to have a good time, we want you to have a good day out, right? That's important. Whether you go to the temples or come to the park here, we want you to have a good time. And you could do that by seeing species that you won't normally see. Right? It's very interesting. But then also you can learn something on that day out also. And I think that's so. We want to inspire people to care about the environment, care about the species in it. But of course, you need to have a good time when you're doing that. And that's why, you know, seeing the animals in the flesh or watching the animals do some enrichment. For instance, you see the large tiger pole we have here?
Yep.
We can send some small bits of food down this by the zip line, and you can watch our tigers climb the pole to get the food.
Wow.
This is not just for you guys to enjoy. This is also a good workout for the animals, makes them use the muscles, keeps them from getting bored, that sort of thing. So we can actually mix the two. We can, you know, by giving our animals a good, active and physical home, means people can see them do something maybe they wouldn't see elsewhere when they just maybe are asleep or they don't move.
Thank you, Mark, for your insightful interviews, and then we have learned a lot from the Angkor Wildlife and Aquarium Center here, and hopefully we'll visit you again in the future. Thank you.
No problem. I'll continue.
Thank you.